Stewart.
Right. I think I'm the last speaker. Must be.
Which I wouldn't
Right.
mind just having one quick.
Oh, you've got one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just on the call centre, this morning I actually rang the call centre a couple of times myself, and I think the first time it did take about 5 minutes before anybody, after they picked up and there was a message, and I waited for 5 minutes, and then it just cut off. It's like somebody must have hung up on me. So I rang again, then it took another, I think it was about nearly 5 minutes, and then a third time lucky, another 5 minutes, then I finally got through to somebody, and then I emailed, and then it was all okay. But with the call centre, I can remember some months ago ringing the call centre when we had a window washer up the road that was drunk and causing a lot of problems, and then they said to me, "Oh, you'll have to." I said, "I'm on hands held," and I said, "I'm ringing. The only reason I'm ringing is because it could become a serious problem. Somebody could get killed." Da 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 da. So they said, "Oh, well, you'll have to ring the police." And I said, "Well, could you ring the police for me?" I said, "I'm a councillor." Da 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 da. That sort of thing. I think just picking up on what Councillor Penrose was talking about. Sometimes I think if you ring a call centre and you let them know that you're actually an elected councillor and you're ringing up on council business, for a member of the public, maybe it should be handled a little bit differently, and you shouldn't have to go through all the ropes that Councillor Penrose was talking about. The other thing is that this morning, I must admit, the music that they had playing, it was sort of all of a sudden it sort of like went into sort of like a heavy metal type thing, and then it went da da da, and then it went, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it went da da da. And to be perfectly honest, for anybody that's got it on, waiting, it's not very pleasant, and especially when you've been waiting for 4 minutes or 5 minutes and you're waiting for your call to... I think we do need to have a look at the type of music that you're going to play. It has to be something that's maybe soothing and classical, otherwise it does irritate, and then it makes, by the time the people get to the call centre, they're feeling kind of a bit aggressive, if you know what I mean. And I hear that from a lot of people, but that actually happened to me today, so you can find out what music it was they were playing this morning, and it was not good.
Did you like rap music, Nigel?
I don't know who picks the music, but it definitely wasn't good. And just on the Lagoima, and I think the Mealy and Brown might remember, I think back in Manukau Day we used to have some people that used to constantly do the Lagoima, and if I remember rightly, there was some sort of a charge if you did too many Lagoimas. I think there was a charge, because there were some people that might do 20 or 30 Lagoimas a year, or even more. So
we do bill them.
can you just touch on that, the Mayor?
Some we do.
Yeah.
Some we do.
Well, I don't remember that well, but
can
I
you
do
remember
know
we did have a bit of...
that some of the frequent flyers do get bills these days.
Yes, they do. Thank you. So, Councillor
Thank
Hulst,
you.
do you want to make a comment?
Just very quickly, Madam Chair, I think, all of this information is really important, and it's good to, we're good secret shoppers. We're out there trying our services and feeding back, and I think that's really important. But I think we do also need to remember that we are operating at an incredibly high rate of knots and high revolution at the moment, and if the proverbial happens and hits the fan, it kind of does, and whenever it does, it almost feels like it all happens at the same time. So I just want to take a second to say, however, every phone call I've had from an angry and justifiably angry ratepayers about their lack of bin delivery, or when on earth are they going to get their inorganic collection or whatever, and we've escalated it through to the team, and in my case through to Parole, it's been dealt with immediately, and we've had then ratepayers come back and go, wow, actually I wanted to stay angry but I can't, and good on you. So for the people who've actually picked up some of this, I just want to acknowledge them, and also that maybe when we do the LTP, for those of you who are here, LTP next time round, we need to look at the volumes that we're dealing with, the growth, the size of the city, the complexity of issues we're dealing with, and the times when we have the collisions between weather bombs and inorganic rubbish and unitary plans and rates and all the rest of it, and dogs, and how do we actually manage some of these big lumpy times effectively. So feedback needed. Mostly, however, I think bloody good group of people working incredibly hard, and thank you.
So on that note,
Oh,
thank
hang
you.
on, I've got a comment.
Oh, sorry, George.
Well, no, as
we
the,
might
as
have
the
lunch.
chair
One
of
of his last
the, as the chair of the Regional Strategy and Policy Committee, I've had my ear to the ground in relation to this rubbish issue, and I think, you know, overall there's been quite a lot of good feedback. And there was an article, a letter in the North Shore Times the other day saying that we were scored 7 out of 10. So I don't think it's, oh, well, it is high from the shore, Mr Mayor, but...
Yeah, 10 out of 10 is the part of the city.
Can I stand up? Have I got the floor, or have you other people got the floor? But the people on the North Shore love the new rubbish collection, and thank the officers for all the work they're doing. Thank you.
Well done, George.
So
Excellent
thank you
feedback.
on that note, and can I
Oh,
say,
they do.
as
They do.
someone who probably has never, well, no, probably once or twice, I don't call the call centre. I call Parole, and I talk to the staff, and I get hold of people, and Parole goes, oh, and then I get phone calls from people who have spent half an hour on the phone saying, absolutely fantastic, because I've just got my bin, or I got my 7 bins picked up. No problem. So on that
Victory
note,
number.
can I move?
Can I just ask that we commend Parole, because I think she actually went and picked up some rubbish on a Sunday.
Oh, she does.
She
I
actually
think
went
we
and got
should
some rubbish on a
absolutely.
Sunday.
Now, councillors, thank you. I'm going to move the recommendation.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And can I say that this is your performance report, and I think as councillors, and I'm going to say this, I pick up a very big glossy brochure about this big book at the moment, which has got all my local board achievements for the last 3 years.
We don't have a
and
book like
several of them do that. This is your achievements. You don't get in a glossy report,
No.
but this is what you have to deal with.
Cheap paper.
And, you know, I just want to point that out. So thank you very much. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Now, just before you stop for lunch, we are going to have lunch here. Someone is going to come over with the papers for you to sign. Someone is here.
Anita is here.
Anita's here.
Legal team.
From the legal team for papers that you can sign about declarations of interest for tomorrow. Right, we'll have half an hour for lunch. Sorry, Kay, I was trying to get through before that.